A recent article from the fourth period, David Pagnotta, has revealed some insane reports of new players that are beginning to be linked to the Boston Bruins, and things are just getting out of hand at this point. So I want to talk about it with you guys, see what we think about this, as well as Jake DeBrusk, continuing to distance himself from the Boston Bruins, is now getting closer and being linked to the Calgary Flames. So I'm going to be talking about all of this stuff here in this video. Before we do, though, we know that 81% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, as we do not want to miss any Boston Bruins news that we have to offer. I'll be bringing it to you guys, and you don't want to miss it. We're also on the road to 3K, and we're just about there. So, me and the world, if we can hit that, as soon as we can. I'll say that's the best way to put it, but let's get right into this first bit of news. And these reports are getting ridiculous, and that's one thing I am very willing to say about all of this new stuff we learned from this article from David Pagnotta and the fourth period. And I will pull up the first screenshot that we do have here. This is the beginning of it. Sorry, wrong one. There we go. Okay. According to the fourth period, the Boston Bruins have interest in Nikolaj Ehlers, Jakob Chychrun, Martin Necas, Trevor Zegras, and Mario Ferraro. While teams remain interested in Ullmark, that you figure the return for him could be involved in one of those players above. Sounds like Boston have a busy summer ahead of them right now, and that's one thing we've known for a long time, that this will be the case. But as you can see, some pretty new names there: Nikolaj Ehlers, Trevor Zegras. We've spoken about Chychrun, Necas, and Mario Ferraro here. Ferraro in the last video, Necas and many, many more, and Chychrun in one. And we kind of have our thoughts about those three, but the two big names here, Nikolaj Ehlers and Trevor Zegras. Two very interesting ones that we're going to have to talk about. And I'm going to start off here with another, a response from a tweet with Bruins Network discussing what could be the possibility or what they think about a Trevor Zegras trade, I guess we could say, to the Boston Bruins. And this is what they had to say. The question was, do you think that this would be a good decision, a good idea for the Bruins going forward? And it says, we'll be taking quite the swing at a potential franchise-altering talent, but definitely worth it depending on the price. Young, talented, high-skilled centers don't grow on trees. They've done several deals with Anaheim, and so there might be a chance they could figure something out, which is always, not really what you think would be a very good, bargaining point, but it is in the NHL. Once you get familiar with the team, you have two GMs and a few staff members that are familiar with each other, a deal goes down easier. But for a guy like Trevor Zegras, nothing is going to be easy for either of the sides. Trevor Zegras has been linked to many teams so far throughout the season after all the injuries, and he's had all the discussion about Anaheim potentially, moving on from him. We've heard the Canadians, we've heard a whole bunch of different teams, but now the Boston Bruins are involved, and I really don't know how I feel about this. Trevor Zegras is a player that you can't deny his skill. He's a very, very talented player, but he's not a guy the Boston Bruins are really looking for. The talent on offense is there for the Boston Bruins. That's no doubt. That's a known fact that they have it. They need someone who can put the puck in the back of the net whenever they really want. Obviously, that's a bit easier said than done, but there's players that that they're going to be there for their goal scoring, and Trevor Zegras, to me, really isn't one. Career high in points is only, I believe, 60-something, which really is a low for a guy with his hype, his notability, everything that he's really has done in his NHL career. And you can see 31 games this year with 15 points. He was injured for a majority of this year at only 23 years old. Still super young, 6 foot. We kind of know the whole situation with Trevor Zegras, especially involving the whole Michigan thing that he kind of brought and paved the way into the NHL. We've seen it before, but not really as much as we have since he's been in the league. It's also a player that I don't know if the Bruins want kind of in this locker room style. One thing that I don't think they're enjoying is a player like Zegras. They kind of want some very professional players. I'm sure Zegras is, but for the style that he is currently in the the Anaheim Ducks organization, it don't seem like it. So for me, right now, would say stay away from Trevor Zegras, even with the contract that he has to offer, with $5.75 million for 2 more years, and an RFA after. You still have a pretty cheap center there, someone who's very, like the Bruins Network said, potential franchise-altering player with an RFA after, but I still think that he could be too much. I don't think he fits the Bruins. I'm not going to choose him as my number one. But another guy, Nikolaj Ehlers, I want to discuss him as well. A very talented player who's kind of in the same boat. You wouldn't expect it. Not known for going up at 100 points and whatnot. Still around 60 career high points. I believe it's 64 exactly for him, which is, you would think it's more, which is not a bad thing. 28 years old, soon to be 29 by next season. Corsi's very good. He's great on defense, and he's a player that certainly can put the puck in the back of the net. 25 goals this season, but we know that he's a bit more of an offensive talent than I would say with Zegras. More complete rather than being solely known for one thing or your skill in a certain matter as Zegras is. So if I were to go for the two of these players, I would choose Nikolaj Ehlers over them. And now, as that article did say, which I will pull up here once again, there are many names. Chychrun, Ehlers, Necas, Zegras, Ferraro, all linked according to the fourth period in this massive article that they had. And there is substance behind these. Now, how much, I am not sure. But as you can see, those names there, at least someone thinks the Bruins are linked to them. There's a report for it. So I'd still, once again, I would take it with a grain of salt. But I would much rather a Nikolaj Ehlers on this Bruins team if it had to be something that the Bruins had to do. As you can see from his contract as well, he's on the final year of a $6 million deal with a modified no-trade clause. However, I would not say Boston is on that, to be honest with you. Boston's kind of a hard team to stay away from, especially with the situation they're in currently. So maybe we see something like that. Now, obviously, this one would not be for Linus Ullmark. Likely not for Trevor Zegras either, from John Gibson and Connor Hellebuyck being the goalies for those two teams. So it would have to be a different piece. Do the Bruins do it? Do the Bruins have enough to be able to do it? Right now, I would really have to go a bit deeper into it and see, but off the top of my head right now, I would say some stuff would have to be done. So we'll have to take a look at this in the future day, but let me know what you think about these two. Two pretty interesting new ones. Trevor Zegras, I'm not a fan of. I really don't think I'd be willing to take a gamble that you guys aren't either. But let's move on to our second topic here. I know it kind of rambled a bit there. I do apologize, but the Bruins kind of seem to be distancing themselves from Jake DeBrusk as he's linked to the Flames, and Jake DeBrusk seems to be doing the exact same thing for him against the Bruins. But as you can see here from this, a source tells the Win column that there's mutual interest between DeBrusk and the Flames. That's not to say there will be a deal consummated on July 1st, but it's certainly a possibility. DeBrusk also has mutual interest with the Edmonton Oilers and a third team, which I believe is the Carolina Hurricanes. So once again, a new situation seems like it's coming for Jake DeBrusk a lot sooner than we expected. More and more signs are pointing to Jake DeBrusk not being on this lineup, which, to be honest with you, now that it's kind of sunk in a bit and getting used to it and seeing all the reports of what we're seeing from new players joining this team, I'm not too mad with it. And, Jake DeBrusk, I was a huge fan of him. He's a very good playoff performer, but we need someone who can perform consistently. And I think that Jake DeBrusk is quite an easy player to replace, especially if they're looking for that first line player. So, a lot of time to think about this. See who they want. I don't think the Bruins are going to rush this. I don't think they want to rush it either. They're a very well-respected team that players are going to want to at least dabble with in the free agency. So what's going to happen? I really don't know yet, but I'm excited to see what does. So let me know what you think about Jake DeBrusk. I know I kind of think we have a bit of a determined known thing about what we feel with him right now. He's time to go. We need some new players, but the big thing is Zegras, Ehlers, and a few of those other players. Let me know. Mainly those two, as we haven't spoken about them here before. But yeah, that's all I got here in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. As I said, we're close to 3,000. It would mean the world if we could hit that. And it'll be a very busy offseason as well, so you're not going to want to miss it. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.